To Lebanon now, and 3 months after the blast that rocked Beirut and killed more than 200 people, the cleanup is still ongoing. 6,500 people were injured, there was $15 billion of damage, and 300,000 people have been left homeless. Roberto Helou is an amateur videographer. He raced to the scene of the explosion to help friends and tend to the injured and dying. Now, he also took his video camera with him, and his documentary now has had just under 17,000 views online. Alex Perrottet caught up with him over Zoom, and Nick Monro put this story together. Roberto began by explaining what was going through his mind when the explosion happened.
I knew it was something really big and I had to go and help the people. And maybe first reflex was helping the people. And then it was like, maybe I could bring my camera and document it, because this catastrophe will probably need a lot of funds to help the NGOs that are going to be working on the field. So I was like, if I can make a solid piece of content that shows all of what happened, especially the first day, we could raise funds and raise awareness on what happened actually. And I was like, there's no way that a lot of people are actually covering what's happening now. Even the news channels, they're probably got targeted. So I was like, okay, camera, and I go down. It was crazy. I mean, there was people everywhere, on the floor bleeding. I saw hundreds of wounded people. So it was a really tough, and it was towards the end of the day. So it was getting darker and darker, and there was just glass everywhere. It was apocalyptic. It was just indescribable. And then once I checked on everyone and the data connection was better, I started asking, instead of going to the houses, I started asking the people if they were fine and everything. I went straight to the hospital, donated blood, and went back home and tried to communicate what I saw on social media and try to because I have a decent following on social media, so I was like, I could use this to redirect people to where they could help the best. In the taxi, while I was going down to the epicenter of all of what happened, I was hearing on the radio, it's an Israeli attack and stuff. It's huge, it's an ammonium nitrate explosion, so it's very toxic in the air and stuff. We had our coronavirus masks and everything, and we still went because for me it was more important to see if my friends were alive and if they needed the help than having some small health problems on the short term. It's not the most important thing. So I did what everybody did. Actually, a lot of people did this, but not a lot of people documented. And so I was really happy that I took this initiative on the first day.
And literally nothing mattered anymore. Just like that, the nightmare had started. But I actually had no idea of how bad it was until I got to the streets. I just felt the earth moving, and I thought it was an earthquake, but actually I think there's a bomb. I'm gonna go and see what.
Tell me about what the reaction was in the next few days in terms of everyone responding and coming to town to help clean up and help people. Because as you were saying in the documentary, there was not a lot of official help, so it depended on a real grassroots movement.
Actually, there was no official help at all. And so everybody went down to help someone they knew or a friend of a friend, Everybody felt a crazy urge to just be on the streets. And I think it's also a way to deal psychologically with the disaster that happened, Seeing it from your own eyes and trying to help. It's a form of self-therapy, So everybody had this reflex to do it. And yeah, there was hundreds of thousands of people on the first few days on the streets helping with their own brooms. They would bring their own brooms from their houses. They would sweep the streets, take out all the rubble from the houses that were destructed. And even there was even French aid that came the second or third day, and the French president, which I met in person as well.
Despite the total lack of help from the government, hundreds of thousands of civilians took over the streets. No one had asked them anything. They were all volunteering out of sheer goodwill and compassion for the victims and helping each other without expecting anything in return.
It's been, just over 2 months now since this happened.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the state of Beirut, and are people getting back to their normal lives? I mean, what's the situation?
So it's a good thing and a bad thing as well. So people say Lebanese people are very resilient. And it's a good thing, but sometimes it has its limits. And now the people adapted. I mean, after 2 months now, the people are getting back to normal. The region around the blasts is kind of a ghost town, but there is some small businesses that are open. There's a lot of houses that need to be completely demolished because they're in a really bad condition. Some of them are need to be conserved because of the cultural aspect of them.
What about yourself, Roberto? You've got quite the following on social media. You're a very handy documentary maker. Do you see kind of awareness that you're getting globally, perhaps around the world? Will that kind of thing help? Do you hope to do more of that kind of thing as well to try to raise more awareness?
I'm trying to. So it's very hard because I'm working on my own. I'm editing everything I do. I'm writing the scripts. I'm documenting the people and contacting them alone. So I'm the producer, director, editor, and it's very tiring to do this job. I'm trying to make my social medias bigger to eventually get people that could work with me and help me in order to provide the world with honest documentation of what's happening in the world, but also with a very positive dimension and with a dimension that adds value to people's lives, because I think human values are the most essential thing that's needed in today's world, I think. And it's part of what we call education as a whole. Obviously, education has a lot of, we need to work a lot on education nowadays, but I think through independent media, we can help a lot to educate people and add the value to their lives and even inspire them and just give them this little spark of hope. It actually works. I've been inspired so many times in my life because of documentaries and videos that I watched of people that are motivated and genuinely interested in what they document. So I'm hoping to be part of this ripple effect to eventually start changing the world we live in today.
And that report was from Alex Perrottet and Nick Monro.